Hello friend, this is Ricardo. Welcome to my quest to find the ultimate travel computer for business professionals. As a road warrior, I need a device as light as possible and all-day battery, so I can work in the car, on an airplane, in a restaurant, or in a cafe. Similar to you guys, I spent most of my day switching between Office apps and browser. As long as the computer has enough processing power to handle those tasks, I'm good. Gaming is never the intention of this type of device anyway. Back in 2018, Microsoft introduced Surface Go. It was very light, yet incredibly sluggish, due to the pathetic Pentium Gold processor. So I waited. When Microsoft put an M3 chip into Surface Go 2, I picked one up. To me, the CPU was still underpowered, but could handle normal business apps, just with a little bit of delay when the apps load. However, its battery life was not satisfactory. In normal use, I could barely get 4 to 5 hours, which means constantly looking for an outlet on the go. Since Surface Go 2 doesn't meet my need, I ended up getting an iPad Air 5 for travel. Air 5 was incredibly fast and lasted the full day. However, the functionalities of its iOS Microsoft apps were very limited. For example, common tasks in Word like track change or responding to comments are friendly to neither me nor my eyes. To do my job, I often bring both devices on the road. iPad for simple email and web surfing. Go-To for complex email and other work-related apps. Neither device is heavy, but the total travel weight does add up, especially with keyboard. So, when Surface Pro 12 was announced with a Snapdragon chip, which should drastically improve the battery life, I immediately pre-ordered one. The question I am trying to answer is whether I can replace both Go-To and Air 5 with one single device. Keep watching, you guys will find it out with me. Among the three devices, Go-To has the smallest screen. Even at high display scaling, the font in Outlook is kind of small and the layout is cramped. On the contrary, the font size in Air 5 Office apps is perfect, very easy on my eyes. However, the information displayed on Air 5's screen is very limited. On Pro 12, the font sizes in all apps are just perfect. Once I set the Windows scaling to 175%, Office app web browsing no eyesore at all. All devices are equipped with glossy screens, which are way too reflective in my opinion. I can use any of them as a mirror if I want to. After installing Mati Screen Protector, they all became usable outdoor. All devices support 4K external monitor via USB-C to maximize productivity. However, StageMaster Air 5's external monitor managing system is difficult to navigate for multitasking. On the contrary, Go-To and Pro 12 provide a typical Windows extended desktop experience. I can snap or drag windows around however I want it. Comparing to Go-To and Air 5, Pro 12 has an additional USB-C port, which is quite handy when I need to plug in a jump drive or something else. None of the devices are heavy. At 1.02 pounds, the tablet of Air 5 is incredibly light. However, Apple's Magic Keyboard is unnecessarily heavy, making the total travel weight for Air 5 much heavier than it could have been. In terms of travel weight, Surface Pro 12 is a happy middle ground to me. Typically, I work off cloud services, OneDrive or SharePoint, so internal storage beyond what the operation system needs does not have much value to me, especially for Air 5, as Apple is very greedy and charges hefty premium for additional storage. In terms of processing power, Air 5 is very snappy, as its M1 chip is probably way overkill for business apps. As I mentioned before, Go-To can handle Office apps, but do take a while to load those apps. In my experience, Pro 12 is probably 3 to 5 times faster than Go-To and is perfectly adequate for business apps and web browsing. The biggest drawback of Go-To is its poor battery life. In normal use, it can barely last a morning, while Pro 12 and Air 5 can easily go through a full day without charging. Piece of advice: Teams meeting drains battery quickly for both devices. If you plan to meet people on Teams frequently, you probably need to bring the charger. Let's talk about the experience of actually using these devices. When used as a tablet with your finger or a pen, Air 5 is clearly the winner. Window UI and apps are not designed for touch. Handling business apps with fingers or pen is a mistake to begin with, so the only exception is OneNote. One might find drawing ideas useful. From everything else, typing without looking is much more practical. In this aspect, keyboards in all three devices don't disappoint. They all provide great tactile feedback. To me, GoTo's type cover is slightly cramped, and the Magic Keyboard is missing the ESC and True DEL keys, which are very useful for office work. Therefore, Pro 12's keyboard is my winner here. When placed on a desk, all three devices are stable. The only difference is viewing angle. With built-in kickstand, Surface devices provide unlimited viewing angles, while that of Air 5 is much limited due to the hinged design of Magic Keyboard. On the lap, none of the devices performs greatly. Air 5 is top-heavy and prone to falling off. Surface's kickstand does not make life easier either. Fortunately, I managed to find a stable lap position for Surface Pro 12 without using the kickstand. All I need to do is crossing my legs like this, then I can comfortably type in my sofa. Strangely, GoTo can't do the same, probably due to its narrower width. Oftentimes, I need to work in the car. When I do, a steering wheel laptop tray is my go-to accessory. The link is in the description below. As you can see, both GoTo and Pro 12S work perfectly without popping out the kickstand, while Air 5 can't sit all the way back, resulting much less viewing distance and awkward typing position from the driver's seat. During flights, all devices are usable on airplane tray table, while Air 5 has an edge as due to its smaller footprint. As you can see, Surface devices take up more space than they appeared to, thanks to the hinge location of the kickstand. Now, let's come to working with business apps. With a desktop operation system, Surface devices give us full functionality of those apps. The working experience with Air 5 is another story, as the functionality of those apps is very limited. To be fair, I blame Microsoft, not Apple. In iOS Outlook, I can't change font color in email, which is a very effective way to respond question in a long email thread. Managing indentation, editing tables in the email are also very difficult. Pro 12 is very Word friendly. I can edit Word files on its 12-inch screen like I do on any other computer. The experience on GoTo is exactly the same, just with a little eye strain. Like I said before, working on Word documents with Air 5 is nothing but trouble. Track change is horrendously difficult to manage. Any modification of embedded table when track change is on could totally screw up its format. Editing files on SharePoint with coworkers often leads to messed up format or program crashing. Responding to comments is even more painful. For Excel, the screens of all devices are too small. Constant zooming and scrolling are required to view spreadsheet with any complexity. If you need to work with Excel, connect to an external monitor. PowerPoint is another important part of business development. On Surface devices, I can edit and present PPT like I usually do, while the additional 1.5 inches of screen real estate on Pro 12 just make the experience that much better than GoTo. On Air 5, viewing or presenting slides is fine, however, editing PPT on Air 5 is agonizing, to say the least. For whatever reason, Microsoft does not allow adjusting the size of the preview panel. Consequently, the main display area is very small. Teams app is where Air 5 hold an advantage. The iOS Teams app is snappy. I can easily zoom in the shared screen with finger and be able to see the part of my interest in the presentation. When needed, I can also capture the screen with one swipe and saved in OneNote. After 3 months of use, Surface Pro 12 has beautifully replaced both Air 5 and Go 2 for me. As a frequent business traveler, I can work anywhere consistently without having to worry about charging. With external monitors at home and office, Pro 12 has become my only device. One improvement I can think of is LTE connectivity. For now, I'm using hotspot off my phone and in no mood to sign another contract with Verizon. So I am happy with my Pro 12. I will keep using it and report back to you guys. Stay tuned. Adios.